A Queensland Police Specialist Fly-In Squad will triple in size after a $32 million funding boost by the state government. Joining me live now is Queensland Premier David Crisafulli. Premier, appreciate you coming on the program. Thank you. Firstly, what is the Fly-In Squad? Can you tell us, and what can they do, and what have they been able to achieve so far since inception?
It's a dedicated group that can go into communities where there are hotspots, where crime's emerging. They can go in, they can clear things up, they give the backup to the officers on the ground. It's a dedicated muscle unit, and we've looked at it, and whilst it's been far too small in number and not permanent, I looked at the model and thought there's some really good opportunities here for the future. So we've more than tripled it in size. So it's gone from 17 to 58. That's our vision for it. And they will be permanent officers. So we're not going to be pinching them from other parts of the Queensland Police Service. They will be dedicated officers. We said to Queenslanders before the election that we were going to do absolutely everything to deal with particularly the youth crime crisis, but crime across the board. Now, we said we'd have stronger laws, and we delivered that. So before Christmas, we put in place the Making Queensland Safer laws. That's adult crime, adult time. Well, this is the next step in it, and that's giving police the resources to do their job. And we are determined to make sure that that thin blue line doesn't keep getting thinner. And so we have a focus to make sure we grow the Queensland Police Service across the board, but we're also going to triple this unit, and that is a dedicated rapid response unit to go in and clear things up and send a message that the days of the rampant crime crisis in Queensland will become a thing of the past.
Federal Liberal MP Julian Leeser says National Cabinet should meet this week and set out mandatory prison sentences for those who target Jewish synagogues. Would this be something that you would support?
I'd be there in an instant. I'd only have to get the call and I'd be on a plane heading to Canberra to deal with it. I just think it's that important. So whatever it takes, we have to be prepared to do it, because let's be honest, the rise in anti-Semitism in the country is the worst that we've seen in a century, and it can't go on. We're better than that as Australians, and we have to send the clearest message. So we've said that if there's any response, if there's anything that happens in Queensland, we will respond with the full force of the law. But I do think there's an opportunity across the country to send that signal, and the time is right now to do it.
Queensland's top union bosses threatened mass rolling strike action at hospitals, schools and police stations this year. Like in 2024 in New South Wales and Victoria, if your government fails to deliver big pay rises across the public service, what's your response to that threat?
Well, negotiations are just underway, so we'll deal with it in good faith. I'm not one for threats. I'm not one to try to escalate things. I'm one to sit down and deal with people and get a good outcome. That's the way I've always been, and I genuinely do look forward to dealing with the unions, with individual workers. I want the Queenslanders to know my vision is for the best public service in the country, and we need that because right now in Queensland, service delivery, because of a lack of planning, because of a lack of funding, because of a detailed strategy, it's just fallen across the board. Youth crime, health, housing, cost of living, all of those things, if we're going to turn them around, we need a world-class public service. So that's a public service that's secure in its employment, that understands that it can be part of those challenges. I've spoken a lot about the need to upskill the public service so we're not constantly farming things out to the big four consultants, which we've been addicted to doing in Queensland. In order to do that, you need to have a world-class public service, and we are determined to make sure we deliver that. When it comes to the front line, I do want to see a front line that's secure in its work, that's well paid for what it does, and we will negotiate in good faith, I can assure you.
Are you expecting a year of disruption?
I'm expecting to deal with people who want what's right for working class people. And if that attitude works, if that's the spirit of negotiations that people go into it, I'm very confident we can strike the right balance. And I've always said there's one militant union that has run roughshod in Queensland and across the country, that's the CFMEU. But across the board, the other unions, I believe, want what I want, and that's workers that are well paid, that are safe in their job, and for productivity to be front and centre. And provided that's the spirit of negotiations, I've got every faith that we can get the right outcomes.
Premier, it's great to talk with you. Thanks so much. Good to see you.